for after camera. Hey, true believers, England team. What? No, fellow film fans, England team here with Dalton, the Authenticator.
Hi, folks.
I just got back from the theater seeing Flash, and I'm assuming you parked your boat at the nearest dock.
Drink up me heart is your hoe.
Yeah, there you go. Yes. I was just talking about, I was part, a lot of you know I was part of the original CG Comicsgate. We didn't call ourselves Comicsgate. But what happened is when you're in a group like that, you get trolls and you get people who really are just there for the drama and really are just there to put stuff down, and they think it's
Schadenfreude addicts,
yeah,
basically.
It's cool to hate stuff. So they go in and, oh yeah, this is gonna suck. Isn't that great? You know, or it seemed, or I've been talking about how Gary and the Black Pills, still greatest 1950s band never to exist, how they're unreliable narrators now because their entire thing is I hate this. They make their money off of I hate this. I hate this.
As I said, their paycheck is dependent on finding the worst interpretation of any given thing they see.
I like liking things. Truth be told, if I'm going to put my money down, I want to go and I want to have a good time. And sometimes it feels like you can't. Sometimes it just feels like, you know, somebody's there to piss on your parade. And it's got, you know what, I'm done with it. Look, if it's a bad movie, it's a bad movie. Say it's a bad movie. But if every movie you've seen is the worst movie you've ever seen, you're doing it wrong.
Or you haven't watched enough bad movies, which, you know.
If you haven't seen Gore Horror, you have not yet seen the worst film of all time.
Serbian film, Basta de Noches.
Serbian film is more morally disgusting. There's but there's so many things, and I was thinking about that coming out of this because I had a good time in this. I'm not saying it's perfect, but it definitely is a really good time to be had in The Flash. We're going to be talking a little bit about this movie, and we're going to be talking about it first non-spoilerly as best as we can, and then more than likely we're going to start spoiling the f out of this around the 10-20 minute mark. That's just how we are. We get to a point where we can't talk about it anymore without going into stuff.
We are become Siskel and Ebert.
There you go. Yes, I get to be the fat one. Ooh, I want the bald one. I want both of them. I want both the fat and the bald. I'm taking those. Those are mine. Hello to Jay and to In a Disguise and Ahsoka. What's up, guys? How you doing? And everybody else listening in and watching this after. So yeah, I went in and before we go forward, I want this to absolutely be crystal clear. This is my most anticipated film of the year. This is the one I was most jazzed to see over any other film this year in January. Hey, what's the movie you want to most see? I want to most see The Flash. And here's another thing. I will, and I'm telling this to Dalton right now, this is the first time he's heard it. I want to review what's on the screen. I don't give a f what Ezra Miller did. Ezra Miller did bad shit off screen, but we're not talking about what's off the screen. We're talking about what's on the screen. And period. Done. That's all. Because we all know what he did off screen. That's not a movie review. You're not reviewing the movie if say, I couldn't watch this because Ezra Miller was sorry, dude, then you're not reviewing the movie. You're telling me Ezra Miller's a dick, and you know what? I already know.
We also know that DC perpetually sabotages themselves, which this is the same news day we've been going for 10 years now. DC finds a fantastic way to nerf themselves at a given opportunity. I will try to keep that to a minimum, but there are places where it will come up.
In a Disguise is saying it all right. I don't know what Alan is, but Alan, personal bias. If you don't like something, e.g. Disney, you're going to find something that you don't like about it. And once again, if you do this, and I did this before, being a part of the Comicsgate crowd, I went out looking for things because I know that if I can get you guys angry, I get more views, I get more clicks. I still do it today. I try to find the most controversial title. Let me make a thumbnail to make you guys go, what what's he talking about? Or to make you go, yeah, I think that too. Let me click on it. That kind of thing. It's just the way it is. Okay, now back to the movie. We're already 4:47. I would have personally, I would have skipped all of that. I'm very much a person who watches a video. Get to the point.
Well, and I guess you know, you've kind of given your 2 cents on really enjoying the movie and so on. So,
well, at least I obviously what I'm going to say is going to be I've got positive things to say, but I've got some negative things. But go on ahead, give your opening statement, and then we'll get to it.
My opening statement is this movie is aggressively meh. That is where I came down with it, because because despite what you guys might think, despite all of the drama that preceded it, I did try to meet this movie halfway. And there are some good things in it. The acting is pretty good. There's some emotional beats that hit, although some of them are a little bit overly manipulative, and we'll get into that. There are things in here to like, but a lot of it is just the most superficial. I forget what word I was going to use, because I came up with a word earlier to use and I can't think of it now. But it's very much the most superficial, throw everything at the wall and see what sticks I've ever seen. Afterthought, that was the word I was going to use. Everything seems like a or rather, a lot of things seem like a very superficial afterthought. The VFX, superficial afterthought. A lot of the cameos, superficial afterthought. The plot, insofar as there even is one, it's just it's one of those plots that's like, and then things just happen because ? And that's why, even though there's a lot of good here in the performances, in the emotional beats,
don't talk about any specifics, because this is your
right.
opening statement.
I know that. Yeah, this is my non-spoilery summation.
We won't spoil anything without saying this is our spoiler part of the review.
Yeah, we will demarcate it with the spoiler warning from X point on. But yeah, that's where I feel like there are good things here, but so much of it was haphazard and superficial and mostly an afterthought that I was just like, yeah.
Look, there are some things that I didn't care for. There are some things I really enjoyed. There's some things where I was like, wait a second, is this what people are talking about? I think this is a style choice. Let's get to the elephant in the room. Ezra Miller's fine.
Yep.
He's fine. I mean, I always thought he was a fine actor. He's not the greatest. He's not the worst. I liked him in We Need to Talk About Kevin. He's not bad in the Dumbledore films. I just don't think they give him anything to do. He's not a horrible actor. If you didn't see, or if you did see the Justice, what do they call it? Justice League?
Yeah.
And you didn't like the way he acted in the Justice League, you're going to not care too much for half of his performance.
Yeah, he's playing a very annoying character in this.
There are two Barrys in this, and you see it in the preview. We're not spoiling anything. One grew up with his father in prison and his mother murdered, and the other one grew up spoiled. And the spoiled is very much retarded. I wish I didn't think that, but while I'm watching, I'm like, how young is he playing him? Because he's 18. And I got to say, there were points there I'm like, but then again, I thought about, well, wait a second, think about millennials nowadays. Millennials are far younger, or not millennials, Gen Z is far younger than I was when they were 18. I am far younger at 18 than my father was. So it's just something that's kind of generational.
And that's and the other thing is, it doesn't entirely come out of nowhere, because this has been a consistent thing with this incarnation of the Flash. All the jokes about male feminist Flash, autistic Flash, yada yada. Well, take those criticisms and ratchet them up to about 11, and you have Barry the Younger in this movie.
Yeah, my dad once told me he was very much a smart ass, a joker, all that kind of stuff, and he was on War Games, and he was joking around, make fun, and he ended up getting killed. And he went, holy shit, I need to take this shit seriously. And so he started to take it seriously, and he ended up becoming a lieutenant in the Army. He was in the Vietnam War. And while he's still a very funny man, he's not the guy I grew up to be. And I was talking to him one day when he's talking to me about all this. I'll go, holy shit, I'm you without the war. If you wanted, and first he was like, wait, what? And then he realized, holy shit, you are. The
character development,
the sense of humor, the way, I mean, I take care of responsibility, but I am very much somebody who is not afraid to dance in public. You know, it's just one of those things. And that's the different berries you're getting. One is Englentine with the war, one's Englentine without the war, you know, the what you see here. And so it made sense.
Being the Flash was good for Barry Allen is sort of the upshot here.
We're going to get into different, more specific things later that I really loved about what they did with that. They really seem to have done their homework in the script. And by that, I mean, they made sure that, okay, Barry goes back in time. He affects things. They use the Flashpoint timeline where it's not two straight lines. And they use spaghetti as a metaphor in this one, that it's all tangled up. It affects the past and the present. If you change something, the butterfly effect goes in all sorts of different directions. And what it seems like in the script is that they really did sit down and go, okay, he messes up the timeline. What has changed? What would have changed? Let's make sure we mark those down and let's put them somewhere in the movie. They might not directly say this is something, but they do show something in the background, or it's a one-line throwaway, and just oddball things. Some of the things that you hear are like, wait, how would he have affected that? But
yeah, it in places it did remind me of the timeline retcon from One More Day, of like, how exactly does this change this, and what the hell is going on here?
But actually, I could see it considering how big the characters that we're talking about would be in that world.
Right. They're, you know, notch above celebrities.
Also, I do have to ask, please, and I'm not seeing any here, but also please don't spoil the movie until we announce we're doing spoilers. Hey to Robert Willing, what's up? Personally, I prefer present. I'm not a fan of the alternate until the end. This stuff is in the trailer, so it's not spoiled. Thank you. Director said bad CGI was intentional. That's what I thought. Okay, well, we'll get to that a little later, but we will get to that because I saw it and I was like, okay, this must be. And then I thought, no, everything around looks exactly like that. That's a style choice. So people who think this is bad CG are missing the effing point. So
that being said, it's still probably not a good style choice, and therefore
I thought it was fine, and we'll get to it just a little bit. Personally, I think someone should have pulled him aside and tell him no one is going to realize that you're.
That's where I'm at with it. It's
I think that's what you're saying right here. I got the point. I got the fact, and maybe it affected Dalton's experience. Basically, when I watch a movie and it was worth my time, it's a success. For too many people enjoy a movie, then proceed to trash it. Well, that's what we were talking about in the beginning with some who make their money trashing on things. Then they have to serve their audience. So even if they like something, they have to trash it to a certain extent. And therefore they are, what was it again? Unreliable narrators?
Yes.
Yeah. I have no such thing because my promise has always been to only give you my honest opinion. If it's good, it's good. It's bad, it's bad. If society is telling you it's awful and I think it's good, I'm going to tell you. If everybody else is telling you it's good, I'm going to look at you and go, yeah, you know what? It was okay. You know, I didn't care or I hated it. And that's been the way it's been since the beginning. So Ezra Miller, I think he did a fine job. You could definitely tell, by the way, and I got it, and the way they would have filmed these, I think he did an exceptional job, because what they would have done was they have their setup and they would probably have spent one whole day as alternate Barry and one full day as Justice League Barry. And the fact that he was able to keep that going, and it sometimes have very rapid conversations with himself. That is speaks highly of him and of the editing, which I thought was also pretty good. Let's also get this out of the way, the Batman aspect of all things here, because in the preview, They truly made it seem like this movie was Batman co-starring the Flash.
Yeah, Batman No Way Home was the meme.
Yeah, yeah. I'm happy to say no. Now there is Batman in it. There's plenty of Batman in it, but Batman at no point in time takes over the movie. He is a side character in all iterations. And by that, I mean, of course, you see Ben Affleck's version in the beginning. And then, of course, Michael Keaton is probably the most Batman you see is they go searching out when Zod appears. Also, not spoiler, it's in the previews.
To draw a comparison to No Way Home, the relationship between Barry and the various Batmen is similar to the relationship between Peter and Doctor Strange.
Yeah, it's very much mentor and mentee. Especially, I've got to say, with Ben Affleck, you can really tell that they are friends, but Ben Affleck very much does not see him on the same level. Not that he's condescending to him. It's just that he understands Barry is not a 53-year-old
because I'm Batman, basically.
Yeah. But I dug the out of Ben Affleck. I was so happy to see him in action again.
You could tell he was thinking to himself, okay, this is my very last hurrah as this character. I am giving it everything.
Yeah. And obviously you see him a few times as Batman, but mostly you see him as Bruce Wayne, and you see his stunt double as Batman. As there's that chase scene in the preview goes on for like 8-10 minutes. It is such a cool action piece. It really is. I gotta tell you that let's talk about the outfit a little bit. I love seeing the blue and gray, but there was like a mesh thing around it, kind of looking like an armor bra.
It didn't suit him.
I wasn't a big fan of that. I would have preferred to have just seen either an armor blue and gray, or just take it all away and let it be. Although they needed the armor,
the BVS suit.
Yeah, if it was, no, I wouldn't. I don't think the BVS suit would have been good for this one, but at the very least, it would have, because he's dragged a couple of times. When you see him up against the wall and he's doing that, that's actually a guard railing on a highway that he's being dragged down. So he needed armor on that. Batman is the only reason I would go see the Flash. Joe, it's a great reason. And let me tell you something, you're not going to be disappointed. Once again, Batman isn't the movie. He's just the icing and the cherry.
I mean, there are ways in which I was a bit disappointed, but then again, I was probably going to be, judging by the trailer, I was probably going to be disappointed no matter which way it ended up.
Yeah.
So,
the Michael Keaton factor, it's fucking Michael Keaton. If I got to say any more, I mean, you should understand when I go, it's fucking Michael Keaton, man.
Although, had he been playing Thomas Wayne, I think it would have landed a little bit better.
Well, it would have definitely been more accurate with the story, but I don't think audiences would have gotten it. So I can understand why they went with Bruce.
I mean, sure, but there was dissonance between you know. They didn't have him playing old Bruce. They didn't have him playing Thomas Wayne. So all you're left with is, oh, this Batman has let himself go, and that's a little sad.
Yeah, but he even mentioned he won. Oh, okay, nope. So we're gonna get to spoilers later. I'm trying, guys. I'm trying. But still, it's I thought he did great. I thought he was just, you could tell he was having fun. If they came, I have a feeling if they came up with a script that says, you know, we need something between now and the first freaking movie coming out. You want to throw out a Batman, Michael Keaton? I bet you he would go, yes.
They should have just done a Batman Beyond. Honestly, like there should be a Batman Beyond with Keaton.
I got to tell you,
I would have said with Conroy, but alas, he is no longer with us.
Now so, more than ever, after seeing him back in action, I would love a Batman Beyond with Michael Keaton. Who
would you cast as Terry? This is a bit of a sidebar, but who would you cast as Terry?
I don't know. Since the kid already has Blue Beetle. But my first thought was when people asked me before, the kid from Karate Kid, but he's already Blue Beetle. I would have to think about that for a second.
I would cast the kid who plays number 5 on Umbrella Academy. That's who I would cast. Either as Terry or as Damian Wayne if they ever get around to casting Damian Wayne, which it seems like they're going to because for some reason Gunn is starting with Damian. Never mind.
Robert does reviews. I'm assuming that's your wife, or is it your girlfriend? I don't know who it is, Rob, but I know Rob does reviews. And I will say this. My wife is the harshest freaking critic I know, who is honest, by meaning I don't trust the black pills for anything now. My wife is absolutely, if she doesn't love it, it's all right. It's all right. That's okay. That's all right. That's all I ever hear usually. Hey, Gail, how'd you like the Flash? She goes, I'm not gonna say it was all right, but it was all right. That's all I ever hear from her. It's all right. It's all right. She's a coworker. Okay, Rob. Well, just I didn't know, but she actually she enjoyed it tonight. So, and that's a high praise. That's a high praise. I'm gonna show her Flashpoint when we're all done here, just to get under her skin a little bit.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Okay. Let's move on to the other one because everybody believes that this wasn't a movie about him. This was a movie about him and Supergirl. And obviously, in the book Flashpoint, they go and they find Superman, and Superman's in a like a dark dungeonous cave-like thing that he's being held in. And basically, if you've read the book, the scene is kind of the same, except they give a little, except for Supergirl. And so a lot of people, oh wait, no, they're race swapping Supergirl. It's horrible. It's bad. I didn't mind them not making her blonde because the blonde thing I always had to question. Just because it seemed everybody in the family but Kara Zor-El didn't have blonde hair. So,
well, I mean, she is a cousin, so they're not going to.
No. I'm actually talking about. I'm talking about her family. It wasn't like everybody's running around blonde or anything. And so I don't.
Maybe it skipped a generation. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe. Hey, I was a blonde in my family, and I was the only one. Well, no, my younger brother was as well. I didn't mind. I didn't mind them doing. I thought of Laurel Kent from the Legion of Superheroes. So that's kind of who I thought they were modeling her on. So I didn't mind. She does a fine job. She's Supergirl. She's not given a lot to do.
No.
But by that I mean she's not given a lot of acting to do. But for what they gave her, I think she handled it adequately. I mean, it's not like she was horrible. It's just she's. I don't think this is spoiling anything. She's an extended cameo. In all honesty, of all the big deal that they were making her out to be, and she does have some good scenes. It's just that she doesn't show up and she doesn't really do anything.
There's no reason for her, really.
Well, there is. But because it's part of the story and they do need the muscle. But in the end, yeah, you're right. She comes in to serve her purpose and she serves her purpose. It's not a weakness of the script. It's just something that's there. But when you're trying to talk about somebody's acting job and they literally just don't have anything to act with, they either are going to stand out or they're kind of going to blend in, and she kind of blends in.
Yeah, she's like, I did my job, peace. That was fair.
Yeah, and she does her job. She is absolutely somebody who came in, did what was required of her, and pieced out. It's just one of those things. Not a bad thing. It's just that she wasn't given any meat with her potatoes. I will say this for the current DC movies. I say it's rated this way: Shazam, Fury of the Gods, 2 is Black Adam, and Flash go back and forth. I said in my review of BA and Flash. Not sure now. I don't know if that means the worst or what. I will.
I think he was going from the top.
Okay, good, because and it's current DC movies. Okay, I see what you're saying. since of those three, Shazam! Fury of the Gods is the best. Black Adam is in second place, and well, no, actually, I think I put Flash above. I think I don't know. I would have to wait a little bit because of recency bias. I really enjoyed Shazam, but I really enjoyed the Flash. Black Adam to me is exactly where I love the JSA. It's a JSA. You call it the JSA. It's got a higher grade, but it's not. It's Black Adam.
The JSA should have been the main characters, and Black Adam should have been the villain. Basically, is what that should have been. But
yeah, it should have been a Justice Society film. But good Lord, I love the Justice Society part of Black Adam.
We already did basically what amounted to fanboying over Black Adam because it was good.
Yeah,
but
I wish I could say better things about Supergirl. She's not bad. She's just there. Let's see. Okay. Look, Supercam won't watch it. Retconning Man of Steel. That's bullshit. Ben Affleck is Batman. One of the best things of the DCU. A lifeless, disrespectful cameo of a late. You didn't see it. So immediately you're full of shit. You're exactly the kind of person I was talking about at the beginning. Seriously, you are an unreliable narrator. You yourself, and I wonder if you admit how full of shit you are. Do you walk around going, you know what, I'm full of shit, and let me tell you why. Because I'm going to tell you how much I hate a movie I didn't see, and I'm never going to see. And it's because it's bad because of this reason. So, you know what? Go fuck yourself. I'm done with people. I'm done with people like that. I fucking hate. I fucking hate that I got connected to that. You know what? You watch a movie and you hate it. I'm with you. You don't watch it because you don't want to see. Oh well, you know you don't want to fund Ezra Miller. You're not, but you don't want to give money to anything he does because of the stuff. Fine. Don't tell me that you hate the movie. You hate Ezra Miller. But all the stuff you mentioned, it's bullshit. It's bullshit because you haven't seen the film. Even if you hated Ezra Miller, you're not going to go see the movie? Okay, tell me you hate him. Don't tell me you hate the fucking movie because then you're full of shit. See how it works? It's very simple. You see the movie, you talk about it. Go talk to Young Rippa. He'll tell you, oh, I hated the movie. I didn't see it, but let me bring in this review of this guy that did see it and agrees with me, and let me talk about that review. Go on ahead. That's him. You're on the wrong channel. I'm sorry I got to go there, but in all honesty, I'm just that way now. I'm just to that point. Maybe it's because I had too much sugar today, and I'm on edge. I don't know.
Or maybe he's just punch drunk.
It could be. I'm done with it because I've heard it too fucking much. Too fucking much. All righty. Let's see. Does anyone know there was no permission? No permission to what? Rip has done that so many times. He does, doesn't he? Every fucking time. I'm going to talk about this movie. I didn't see it, but here's this guy. Get the fuck out of here. Congratulations on your comics.
What use are you at that point?
Yeah. I will say this much. Congratulations on your comics. You went out there, you did it, and people are supporting you. God bless you for that.
Yeah, good for him. That's
you're disingenuous with your movie reviews. There you go. And if you do that, if you go, if you won't watch it because of the Ezra Miller, okay, I think that's fine. If you won't watch it because Batman, Affleck as Batman, you didn't like him, I liked him, that's fine. Difference of opinion. Cool. Okay. But the other one, lifeless, disrespectful cameo of a late legend, which I'm assuming you're talking about Michael Keaton. Fuck that. Michael Keaton fucking ruled. There's nothing lifeless fucking about it. That is where I go, because that's not disrespecting, like that's not being disingenuous. You haven't seen it. You have no freaking clue. Michael Keaton chewed the fucking hell out of it, man. He owned it again. Okay, I'm going to spoil a little bit, and it's just a touch. It is just a touch. It is not going to mess up the movie for you. As a matter of fact, you can look out for it just in case you missed it, because it's a very small thing. You've seen the preview. You've seen the preview where he flies down the tunnel and he beats the shit out of a whole bunch of guys. There is an after scene. You know what I'm talking about when he's in the bathroom, right, Dalton? And you see him, and he's got a bullet wound from it, right? Kind of like when he would fix himself up in the Batcave and Batman Returns and such, right? Now, did you see this? He's sitting there. First of all, the man's jacked. He got in shape, man. He's there and he's doing this and he's working on him. And he looks up and at first he's like, "What the hell am I doing?" And he goes, just like that. He freaking enjoyed, you know, it's like, to me, it wasn't just like Batman's back. It's Michael Keaton's back. You could tell that man loved it. And that one just kind of look and smile he gives, it's like, I'm alive again, baby. I'm there. Good job. Good job.
I will say it did seem a little low energy to me in places. The action scenes were fine. Apart from the plausibility of the CGI being either a bad stylistic choice or just bad CGI. But I did find it to be a little bit low energy because you could almost tell they were trying to pick up where they left off, but they were like, "Oh wait, we can't because 30 freaking years has gone by." So I will say that I didn't find Michael Keaton to be the magic bullet. It seems like you did.
Oh no, so you didn't think he was as good?
No, it seemed very much. It did seem very much like similar to Last Crusade versus Crystal Skull. That's sort of where I'm at with it.
Oh, no. I disagree with you. Now, granted, I did say this to my wife. I said, I know I'm watching a stuntman, but I'm so glad I get to see Michael Keaton's Batman fight like this. I am so glad I do.
They updated his fighting style is the thing there. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Super Cam is saying that this wasn't that wasn't who he was talking about. We haven't talked about story or anything like that, and I'm wondering. Hey, I just saw this tonight. Okay, Ron Rugg, how you doing? I know we haven't even built up to our full audience that we normally do. We're 30 minutes in, and I'm thinking, should we go spoilers? Because we are 30 minutes in.
If you want to, we can. If you want to wait a minute, we can also do that.
Overall, talk about the story. What did you think? The whole flashpoint of it. Did you like it? Did you hate it?
It felt very much like the story was an afterthought, with the possible exception of the connection between Barry and his mom. Okay. That was the emotional beat. But on the same level, it was like, we don't have any real background history with this version of Flash or this version of his mom. So it was
this would have been better had DC gone ahead with their original plans, you know, where they were like, "Oh, we're going to do this, then we're going to do that, we're going to do this," and they would have been able to play some characters.
And that was the other thing about the story was, you could tell this had been rewritten to hell and back 3 or 4 freaking times. And
yeah, okay, I'm not gonna argue with that. Like I said, it's not a flawless film.
No, and like I said, it very much felt like a throw everything in the kitchen sink at the wall, maybe something will stick approach. And at least they made the movie, and so like I say, the acting was fine. The emotional beat, even though I thought it was a little forced, it worked on a character level. But at the same time, the plot was sort of a and then this happens, or the story was kind of and then this happened because we don't know the reason. Fuck reasons. There are no reasons. There are only heroines.
I kind of want to invite Ronald and Robert in for their opinions also for this next segment. If we're going to go into spoilers, do you mind?
Go ahead.
Okay, I'm going to put this in for Ronald and for Robert if they want to jump in. Please, only Ronald and Robert if they want to join. Also, I'm going to give a little bit of an apology to Super Cam. I will stand by a lot of what I said, but they mentioned that it wasn't the Michael Keaton. And I do, by the way, I went out for, I am a diabetic. I went out for a big old steak dinner and ice cream sodas and everything. So I am wired. Sometimes that puts me on edge, but I do stand by. I do anger teen. Sorry about that. I jumped out, but you did mention something, and we're going to talk about it in just a little bit. Hello to Mr. Staredcraft. Robert, how you doing, sir?
Not too bad. Not too bad at all.
All righty. Glad to have you on. We're going to go into some spoiler territory here, kids. Gonna be a little bit, but we're gonna go into some spoilers here, and I'll explain what Super Cam was talking about, because he said a lifeless. I had a whole different take on that, by the way, what we're about to talk about. And here's the thing. Also, I guess at this point, I'll tell you another thing. I hate spoilers. That's why I'm giving this big old speech. We're about to get into spoilers. So here's what I do. I watch the preview, and then I don't watch anymore. I hate watching preview number 2. I don't want to watch preview number 3. You leak something, I'm going to either mute that conversation or I'm going to block it. I will not go into a movie like this spoiling the hell out of it, because I want to find out the way God and man intended me to do by watching the goddamn movie.
Well, so I did a spoiler review on my channel, but I made sure it said spoiler on the thumbnail.
Yeah.
See, and to Anglinteen's point, I'm the exact opposite way. I want to know as much as I can know prior, so that I can actually interface with the movie when I watch it. Because
so
I'm not different. I'm not interested in the anticipation factor. I'm interested in, okay, I know what you're going to do. Now let's see how you accomplished it.
So there are a lot of cameos in here.
Yep.
Okay,
I did like the cameos.
We're going to talk about some of them here. Hello to Ron Rugg. What's up?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Oh, obviously, you see, I'm wired as hell. I'm ready to go. I'm picking fights with people who really don't deserve it. And well, you know, I do not like. I don't like opinions of things that people don't see or read. That's been something with me forever and a day. That being said, spoilers in 10, 9. I'm giving you a long time. 8, 7, 6. See, it's I can't even count, because by now a lot of time has gone by. But I'm still on 5, 4, 3. And you know what else? I'm taking a pause here just to let you know we're going to spoil some things. 2 and 1, and okay, so here
there will be spoilers from this point forward.
Yep.
Off if you need to.
First, I'm gonna read off Robert's comment. Even though you're here, you're mentioning that the movie's director, his mother was murdered when he was a child, so he connected to Barry, and I think that's probably why the emotional beat on that was spot freaking on. I can understand why Dalton would think it was manipulative, though, because they really went in on it when they went in on it.
That surprised me when I heard that from the director. I was like, wait, seriously?
Now, keep in mind, I find certain Pixar movies to be emotionally manipulative. I'm one of those people that if you want me to feel something, you got to make sure it is organic as all get out, or I will hate you by proxy.
I can't be your friend anymore. Gail will not allow me to. That's just, she will say you can't go out and play with them anymore. But what Super Cam was saying, said it was a lifeless. What was that? Lifeless, disrespectful cameo. I don't think it was disrespectful at all.
No,
I truly don't.
Both of them, both of the ones from people who are no longer with us.
Yeah, all of the first cameo that I believe, Super Cam, tell me if I'm getting this wrong. At the end of the movie, guys, there is a worlds kind of
montage of cameos.
Yeah, that was done very well.
Yes. The first thing you see is George Reeves, and he's standing there like the TV show.
Yep.
And then he turns around.
He turns around, and you see a lot of Superman. Then you hear Adam West. And by the way,
and Helen Slater. Don't forget Helen Slater.
No, we're getting there because they did it in order. They did it in order. The first major thing was George Reeves. There were some stuff before him, but George Reeves was the first major Superman thing. And then they had Adam West's voice, and then they show up. And I swear to God, I had no idea any of this was coming. And Superman flies and he lands, and the smoke clears, and it's Christopher Reeve. And I swear to God, I went, fuck me. That was my reaction. I had no idea any of this was happening. Gail could attest to this. I went, fuck me. And I was like, it was like chills. It was just chills all the way up.
See,
and
this
then
is where
Slater appears right next. I was like, oh, there you go. But when they showed Christopher Reeve, I did. And I looked at it, and it's computer generated Christopher Reeves. Obviously, they didn't know, hey, here's a score.
It was so well done, though.
It really was.
It was like visually, like we all knew that if he was going to show up, it was going to be in some form a computer animated version. But
now, do you think Helen was there, or do you think the other actor we're going to mention about were actually there?
Well, I know the answer to one of them.
Well, I was hoping we would see more of a modern day Nick Cage. But
yes,
God
seeing that.
I know for a fact.
And what is he fighting? And what was he fighting?
I know for a fact that he didn't do anything for the film. He just gave them permission because he talked about it on a podcast I listened to.
In the original
giant spider.
The giant spider.
In the original script I thought it was a scorpion. It was a spider?
No, it was always a spider.
Okay, because, in the original script, he was fighting a giant spider, and Nick Cage gets to be Superman fighting a giant spider on this. It was awesome. It was awesome. And I got to say, I loved Christopher Reeve being there. I got to see Christopher Reeve new in a Superman, and it looked all right. It didn't look
perfect.
I
agree. And I'm pretty sure they got permission. I'm positive they got permission.
And it was just done so freaking well.
Well, the Christopher Reeve
so I'm very glad they nailed that. But damn, it was so cool. It was I think that way, like, I would love to see an animated version of Superman Lives. You know, let Nick Cage voice Superman if he can't play him. I think they should just do that. It would be so cool.
Can I say there's one other cameo at the very end that throws off so much of this movie, and like, where does this stand with everything else going forward?
Okay.
It doesn't.
Yeah,
it doesn't. That's the thing. And
hold on just a little bit for that cameo.
Yeah. Sorry, I just want to say that because that's what I'm just saying. That's what derails so much, because you're like, even James Gunn saying this resets everything. Explain this.
Yeah, does it reset it so that we have to deal with a certain bat credit card user for the rest of the decade?
There
what
you go.
The hell is going on
here? The final cameo is. I was saying that's not. I was thinking. Wait a second, that's not.
And we got the one F-bomb at the very end too. The one F-bomb for the movie.
When he calls and Bruce talks to him, I was thinking that's not Ben Affleck. Who the hell? I can't. Is it going to be Keaton getting out of the car? Somehow it's just the future of that particular timeline or something. How is this possible? And what they're talking about is it's George Clooney gets out of the freaking car, and he's like, wait, who the F is that? You're not Batman. And he says, are you okay?
That part that part was rewritten, correct?
Really? What was that supposed to be?
So it was actually refilmed. And that's why if you look at Ezra Miller's face during that scene, it looks a little weird.
Mm-hmm.
And
Richie was supposed to be Keaton. And
you're gonna have to narrow it down.
Guys,
Ezra Miller always looks a little weird.
Story. It's Ruggernaut's story. Let him finish it.
Yeah. So no, he's right though. It was supposed to be Keaton. They filmed it with Keaton, and it was supposed to be a way for Keaton to kind of come back as Batman in the future. But they decided to refilm it for some reason and put George Clooney in there just so they could pay homage. Basically,
I think it's better this way because of what happens earlier. Okay, so let's talk about some story here.
One last thing. Sorry, just one last thing. The post credit though at least adds some context for it.
Yeah, it does.
Because if you don't mind my saying what it was,
go on ahead.
Basically, he's with Aquaman and he says, I've seen all these other Batman. They look completely different. But every Aquaman I've seen looks just like you. I think that's their way of basically saying he's going to probably jump around to other worlds between now and Superman Legacy. And then, but basically trying to say, but this is why Aquaman 2 is still going to have Momoa.
Yeah. And presumably we're going to keep him in perpetuity, hopefully. But that's neither here nor there.
Okay, it's Christopher Reeve. I get de-aging an actor, but resurrecting a dead actor for a role via CGI, it's taken it too far in his opinion.
No way.
I disagree with that. I can respect you not liking that. I will say, and you got 3 people at least out of the 4 here telling you it's respectful.
Yeah,
they do not disrespect Christopher Reeve by doing that,
my
in my opinion.
My issue isn't one of disrespect. I just felt like the entire cameo fest was just entirely superfluous. I didn't like it. Didn't hit me at all.
Yeah.
Had they actually had the characters appear as the characters in the movie, like they did in No Way Home, or like they do in the Spider-Verse movies, that would have been something. But as it stands, they're less cameos and more just Easter eggs, and it's completely irrelevant to me.
Well, I think it depends on your connection, right? So like people like, I'm not saying that you don't have a strong connection to characters and stuff, but my first introduction to comic books was at a very young age, but it was, and for everybody here, like mine was the TNT show, or not TNT, but the CBS Lois and Clark. That was my first introduction. But then I sought out like the old George Reeves and the Christopher Reeves movies, and I went through all of that. And so for me, it was kind of like, hey, you sat through our movie. Here's our gift to you.
But
and that's the way I felt about it.
But I guess I come to it from a different place, because I do have those connections, but because I have those connections, I want to see them actually do things. I'm going to borrow a phrase from Englentine. It's presentation, not representation, and that's why it feels like okay. It feels like a how do you do fellow kids moment of like what do the geek people who watch these movies like? Oh, they like this and they like that and they like this. Why do they like them? Who knows? But put them in there anyway. That's where I'm at with it. It's like
I can understand
if you actually did the homework to understand why we like these characters and why we like these actors playing these characters, and then do something with them, that would have been something. But as it stands, it's just how do you do fellow kids?
I understand you having that opinion. I disagree, but I get it. It's also a way a lot of people looked at Doctor Strange, Mouth of Madness, or what it was,
Multiverse of Madness,
where you had Reed Richards and all that, and they were.
And I would agree on some level that was kind of how that. Although I will say that I think Multiverse of Madness did that portion better, even though that portion, the Illuminati portion of Multiverse of Madness, didn't need to be in the movie at all. Period.
They had more to do than just, hey, look at me. Going to the story though. We are getting a soft telling of Flashpoint. It's not the story that I saw in the movie. I haven't read the book yet. I should, so I can get a review out of it, especially after I've seen 2 filmed versions of it now. We get that going on. We do have we have Barry Allen. He gets upset. He runs and he just finds out that okay, so he's getting upset because his father has kind of a retrial, so he's going to get out of jail, but the evidence they thought would get him out of jail doesn't. So he gets irritated. He's running, and by the way, I am condensing stuff down here, and he runs so fast he enters the Speed Force, which I thought was really cool. The way they did the Speed Force, it was almost like he was running through some sort of energy like molasses at a certain point, and he ends up going past that, and he begins to go back in time. And that's when he realized, wait a second, I can go back in time and I can stop my mother from dying. And so of course he talks to Bruce Wayne. That's in the preview where you see him say, you could destroy everything. Well, of course he thinks, he talks to Iris and she pops something in his head, as women often do. They give you bad ideas. And he goes, aha, I shall do this. And so he goes off and he does what he needs to do in order to save his mom, but not interact with his mother. You know, it's just one of those things. If you're going a certain way, in one timeline you turn left, in one timeline you turn right. So what happens in each? You know, one of those kind of things. And he goes off and he does it, and we see he's in the timeline where his parents are alive, and he's enjoying sitting down with them and so forth, so on. And that's when the other Barry comes in, they meet, blah, blah. Okay. It really does. At that point, I wanted to talk about this. They really did their homework, I think, and talked about what, not only the big things, but what are the little things that might change. That
the Back to the Future thing.
Yeah,
like that.
Well,
the pop culture stuff was
the little things that would change if he saved his mom. One of them being Eric Stoltz remains in Back to the Future instead of it passing to Michael J. Fox. But what I was talking about is if he doesn't save his mom, Barry no longer has reason to become the Flash, and so he doesn't go. And he doesn't become a criminologist. He doesn't become a scientist. And so the Barry of that Earth is kind of a slacker. He has no path.
He's a useless hipster.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny.
And that it's just one of those things. It's part of what makes his character annoying, but it's absolutely the truth of what would happen is that he is what would happen without the war.
That being said, he was still annoying.
Yeah. And I kind of like that because they really did figure, okay, but if this happens and this happens, then okay, you know, and they really take it. I never understood though, and help me, but why I never understood. I guess they try to explain it with Bruce Wayne, Batman. He's talking about how the timeline isn't a straight line. It's kind of
the ripples move in both directions.
Yeah, because how does that affect Superman coming to Earth?
Oh, well, they explained it.
Yeah,
in the story,
like the ripples go in both directions, but it still feels very Deus Ex Machina. Why is this different? Because we need it to be different to us, you know.
But it's not the first time. It's not the first time we've heard or seen that theory of time travel, that it ripples in both directions. It's just the one that I understand the least, because if you go back in time to a certain date, then why would you affect anything that happened before it?
Well, it's based on a theory of constants, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the theory is that there are these anchor points, right, that are inevitable on no matter what. These are these things are always
sort of a historical inertia, like someone is going to get gunned down in crime alley.
You can't save JFK,
right? Yeah. So so there are these time anchor points. So if there are time anchor points, then no matter what timeline you go into, you're going to intersect with that. No matter how far you deviate from the other timeline, you're always going to intersect at that moment, right?
It might have been Nixon instead of JFK in one timeline, or it might have been whomever.
Yeah, but something was always
someone is getting shot.
Yeah, something like that was always going to happen to a person like that, right? So so those are the intersection points. So then that's why he's saying it's like spaghetti. You have some that are really far apart, right? So like let's say there was a timeline where one is JFK and one is Nixon, right? Those would be close and parallel, like he talked about, but not intersecting. But the timelines where Eric Stoltz plays Michael J. Fox, but JFK is still the one that gets shot, that's an intersection point. That's why the spaghetti crosses sometimes. Right. So that's the theory.
Now I can also give something else to point out is that these are both stuff that you just know from comics. One, it was established the Speed Force goes both from its inception, went both forward and backwards in time, so it could cause that. But you also have just the way that Barry changed history, as Reverse Flash put it. You basically broke the glass. Sorry, got my dog here. And basically caused a ripple effect that went in both directions from that change.
It's like when you throw a stone into a pond, it goes in a circle. So you have things behind it and things in front of it.
Which would explain,
that being said, it still came off as very much Deus Ex Machina in a lot of ways.
It really didn't to me. Well, I don't understand it, but it didn't. I don't think there was a Deus Ex Machina to this. Was he the Reverse Flash? Because he ended up being that monster metal-y kind of.
No, that was Dark Flash. That wasn't supposed to be Reverse Flash.
I thought the alternate Barry was going to become. That was what I was thinking was going to happen. He was going to become the Reverse Flash, and end up being the one that decides their mother needs to die.
You were close.
Yeah, it was kind of close.
Yeah. My question was: is the Black Flash supposed to be the
Was it gotta be black?
Dark Racer?
Yeah. That
they call it Dark. People call it Dark Flash.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was going to end up being as well. It's going to be the Dark Flash. Hello to whoever popped in. We're having a chat about the Flash movie. Feel free to join in. Yeah, we are on spoiler. That's why I
I gotta get going. The dog is just gonna keep barking if I don't shut up.
Don't feel bad about the dog.
No.
I got a bird that tweets every 5 seconds.
No, I understand that, but trust me, it's also I'm babysitting my brothers as well, so I gotta help deal with them too. So
by all means, thanks for jumping on, dude.
Yep. All right. Take care.
All righty. Yeah, I don't worry about anybody's pets with my bird cheeping as he does sometimes. There's a lot of little details that I liked about the story. There are some things that I don't think you needed to go there. The Bruce Wayne's retired, or he's fixed Gotham. Gotham is safest as it's ever been. So why does his lawn have to look like shit? Why does his house have to look like it hasn't been taken care of? Bruce Wayne has now has more time on his hands than ever in his entire life.
Yeah, why does he look a bit like a hobo?
Yeah, I mean, I can understand you taking it easy, relaxing a little bit. Maybe we get a little, I haven't kept in shape. I'm not in Batman shape, but
I think it has to do with Alfred.
Yeah, but he's a billionaire. He can't call up a lawn.
Yeah, I mean, I get that, but like, I think it was more of a despair kind of thing because Barry mentions that he had an Alfred and that his Batman has an Alfred too, right? So I think that they
because this universe's Alfred would be dead,
right?
Yeah, so but the thing is this universe's Alfred would be dead whether he was shot or whether he just lived his life. You're talking about a Bruce Wayne who's in his mid to late 60s.
Alfred, we're also talking about a Bruce Wayne who probably never did anything like that for himself either.
Yeah, but he knows how to call somebody. That's just one of those that look you. I was bothered by a little thing. I don't think many people are going into this movie thinking about Bruce Wayne's lawn, but I was like, why would you? Yeah, it's not like it would be like Mandalay. It would be like in Rebecca. Bruce Wayne could call people and have the grounds taken care of. But yeah, think about time as a giant mirror. If it breaks in one spot, it slowly cracks until all is broken, says Joe. That makes a certain amount of sense. But I know that's a little nit to pick, but you guys don't like certain things about the movie. I didn't like that.
No, I agree with you that it still didn't make sense, but I can kind of see where he's coming from with the whole Alfred thing. Kind of. It still, in my opinion, while I can understand where he's coming from, I don't think that justifies it because Bruce Wayne is many things. Sloppy, I wouldn't. No. The man who has entire contingencies for entire eldritch deities does not let his lawn and house go and himself go in quite that fashion.
Right. Bruce couldn't even get into his house in Dark Knight Rises, says Joe. That's another movie that I like, but I realize is deeply flawed.
Yeah, it's bad.
It's kind of weird. I watch some Batman, like I'll watch the George Clooney Batman and Robin. I'll watch it and I'm thinking, okay, it can't be this bad. And I learned to like it, or at least I learned how to like it. You know, obviously it's not
by playing the audio track where Joel Schumacher apologized.
Yeah, you watch the commentary and Joel Schumacher apologizes to you every 20 minutes. But no, actually, I realized it's not a sequel to Tim Burton's movies. It's a sequel to the 1966 Batman TV show. And once
someone let him do that, is the question for the ages.
they wanted to make it more kid friendly. So he made a 1966 Batman sequel. And had they come out and said, that's what we're doing, okay, they didn't. So we're expecting a darker Batman, even though Batman Forever is not a dark film.
Yeah,
at least it was dark.
I consider the Schumacher movies and the Burton movies to be completely separate universes.
Yeah, but they do reference it.
Hey guys, I'm gonna actually have to take off. I appreciate you letting me jump on.
Anytime, man. Anytime. Yeah. Have a good one.
Hey,
but
you guys have a good one.
I get it, but that was just one little thing that kind of bothered me about it and all that. I don't know. It's a little tiny nit to pick, but I guess pick out.
And that's kind of where I'm at, I guess, with it. But for me, it's death by 1,000 paper cuts. I could accept the CGI being wonky. I could accept any one of these individually, but when you put them all together, it's like death by 1,000 paper cuts.
Okay. I liked it a little bit better than you did. After they meet Batman, they decide they need to go. They need to go and rescue Kara Zor. Well, no, they decide they need to go.
They don't know Superman. It's Kara until they get there and find a woman.
And this was right out of the comics. In the comics, though, they save Superman, and Superman immediately says, "See ya."
Peace.
And, flies away. This time, Kara goes back to Bruce. They go back to Bruce Wayne's mansion, and then she says, "Yeah, you know what? You guys suck. Humanity sucks. I'm gonna go with the Kryptonians over here." And she goes and she meets Zod, and he's a dick. So a murderous dick. And so she's like,
General Zod being a dick since whenever the hell he was introduced to the comics.
And so she goes back and she goes, "You know what? He's a bigger dick. I'm going to help you guys out." And they do the Frankenstein electric chair for Barry. They bring back his powers. And then the ending starts. And it is, like 40 minutes worth of fight. It really is.
Yeah, although the electric chair doesn't work originally, eventually Supergirl comes back and throws him up into the atmosphere, and that works.
Yeah. The final battle, I liked. I would have liked to have seen something a little bit more. Holy crap! I can't. Yeah, that's a great way. They find some ways to do the Speed Force awesome, but nothing on Quicksilver level. Oh wait, no, that was in the beginning with the hospital, where he's running up. The hospital starts to collapse, and the maternity ward's on that side. So. One of the dumbest jokes, one of the most,
the baby shower thing. I just can't even
jokes. I was like, oh god, they didn't do it. They're doing it. Okay. The babies start flying out the window because the building collapses and it leans, and they just fly out the window. And
by the way, the babies look like the babies look like they're made of Jello.
It's on. Yeah. He looks up and he goes, "It's a baby shower," and then he starts.
And I guess that's as good a place as any to talk about the humor. A lot of my problems with this movie have to do with the humor. Oh my god, do they undermine any sense of sympathy I had for them with the humor? So much of it is, let's embarrass this character by having them do X or say Y.
There were some that landed, some that didn't. I will say, I was surprised to see that they went ahead and put a baby in a microwave, which there was a point in time that a comic book got pulled, a DC comic. It was an Elseworlds in England, and it got pulled because there was a baby in a microwave. And here they freaking put a baby in the microwave for safety. I laughed my ass off at that. I love that part.
Still not the best use of a microwave in a Michael Keaton connected property, though. That's still Selina's breakdown in Batman Returns.
That's a good scene there. But I enjoyed it. I enjoyed watching them use the Speed Force in different ways. The end credits, by the way, there's a therapy dog who's also following along with the babies. And in the beginning of the movie, he's just there. He gets rescued, fine. But the end credits is shown over his fall and all the stuff that he went through. Fucking brilliant. It is hilarious. I loved it. The actual battle, the ending battle, this is one of the loudest films I've seen in a long damn time. Now, and that's not just the action scenes.
Sonic War of Attrition, basically. You will like this movie if we play it loud.
Well, and also the fact that nobody is quiet. There's not really a lot of time for quiet contemplative. You do get it with the mom, the scenes with the mom. You get that kind of stuff. When they want to play it emotion, sure. Otherwise, somebody is talking, yelling, talking loud. There's
moving from set piece to set piece.
Yeah.
I had a breakneck speed here.
The fight itself, they do a couple of things I thought was clever. I do like the fact that they show how powerful super speed is. If you've got the speed force, if you've got this shield that's protecting you from friction and from certain things hitting you, because even a bug at that speed would actually hurt. If you have that, how powerful can you be? They showed a little bit of it in Jim Lee and Jeff Johns' Justice League, where Flash runs in, and next thing you see is Superman fly out the door. And they actually do that. Flash can fight Kryptonians. He might not be able to kill them, but he can fight them. Although we find a way to actually kill him. And that I thought we were going to start to see Yellow Flash and the Reverse Flash and all that, but unfortunately that didn't come to pass. We do get a scene. I'm not going to spoil too much of the ending. We do get to see what happens with Kara and Michael Keaton is Batman. Okay, you're going to spoil it, but I like those scenes. Then one in particular I thought was really powerful. Michael Keaton plays the shit out of it. He is, in my opinion, the best thing about the movie. Every scene he's in, he nails. You could tell he's having a great time. And his finale was done perfectly. All of them. So, yeah. Anything else you want to add there, Mr. Dalton?
I can't think of anything in particular. Let's just do scores and
you want to wrap it up? Okay, I'll let you have your final word first.
Again, there's so much. It's not, there's nothing in this movie to like. It's not an F, it's not a D, but there's so much in this movie that feels either haphazard, superfluous. Like I say, I found the cameos to be insufficient. I found the cameos to be kind of a little bit insulting. Not "Grr, I'm angry" insulting, but just why? If you're gonna do something, do it. If you're not gonna do it, then leave it alone. So for me, it's a C-. I can't recommend it. There's too much wrong with it.
Well, all of C is not a recommendation. You're putting it at what I call the death knell.
Yeah, it's like I say, it's not that it's aggressively bad. I honestly almost would have preferred if it were aggressively bad. It's just everything in it. There's just enough to hold it in the average tier, but everything in it is so haphazard and thrown together. And why is this happening? Just because that I can't say anything good about it really, apart from the acting is okay and the emotional moment. If you're not like me and if you can let the movie kind of hold your hand and force you to feel emotions, you'll like it fine. I find those sorts of emotional moments to be manipulative unless they are very, very organically earned. So yeah, for me, it's a C-.
A little counter, and this is the part we didn't really talk about, is I did enjoy the scenes between Flash and his mom, especially, at the end, especially. I got a little frog in the throat. So
I wish he had told her who he was. That would have made it a little bit easier to buy.
I don't know. But okay. Just to give a little understanding, F's we call horrible films. We give horrible films F's.
Repugnant.
D is just degrees of bad. D-, D+. C is average. C-, C, and C+. To me, C- is the worst of the worst, because that is not even bad enough to be bad, and it's not good enough to be good. It's just right there, the most forgettable films.
Yeah, that's where I'm at with it, I think.
B is good, and A's are excellent. And at this point in that time, this movie is sitting at a B+. I thought it was just a lot of fun. I thought it was really good. I don't know if this will elevate throughout the year. I don't know if this will denigrate throughout the year. But I can tell you, sitting down, watching this film, I had a great time. The bad stuff for me was not bad enough, and the good stuff was just so much fun. I am glad I got to see it in the theaters, and I'm planning on going to see it on IMAX. And maybe that will elevate it, because I do want to see it again. And there's only 2 other movies that I actually went out to see, and I saw twice. And one of them's my favorite film of the year so far, in Guardians of the Galaxy 3, which you did not like either.
I thought, it's not that I didn't like Guardians 3. I thought it was the weakest of the 3. It's still a Guardians movie, which is still better than a lot of things. But
I think this might be my third. And once again, maybe when I see it, it might even go higher. But no, because my favorite movies were Guardians, John Wick, and now The Flash. And then Operation Fortune, which is a movie that nobody but me and LK have seen. So yeah, that's where I stand with it. B+, a lot of fun. Recommend it. Dalton doesn't. There you go.
No, to counterbalance what you said, for me, the bad stuff wasn't bad enough to be angry at, but the good stuff wasn't worth caring about. So
there you go. Yeah.
So that's where I'm at.
Would you recommend it?
No.
Okay.
Unless you're drunk at 5 o'clock in the morning and there's nothing else on and you want to see what it was all about, then maybe you watch it. But
I will say this: if you're planning on
it.
seeing it, see it in a theater. It's big, and it deserves a big screen with big sound.
Although, mind you, if you're not the type of person who can look at bad CGI like a stylistic choice, which is very one-minded fan, I'm not excluding that possibility.
Yeah, we didn't talk about
it. It might pull you out.
It was it kind of looked like what's that movie with the train?
Polar Express.
Polar Express. Yeah, when he's in the time bubble, everybody looks like the Polar Express. Just giving you that heads up. All right, guys. That, and by the way, I want to point out that the movie theater they walked past, or the comic book shop they walked past, was called Wiz Comics. There you go. Check that. There's a lot of Easter eggs. Thanks for hanging out with us, Dalton. I always love when we do these hour-long talks about a film. One day we're going to agree. We're going to just flat out agree on a movie. I think
we agreed on Black Adam. We agreed on Suicide Squad 2. We agreed on Multiverse of Madness.
Both of us enjoyed The Little Mermaid. I just enjoyed it a little bit more than you did.
Yeah.
Yep, there you go. All righty, kids. Once again, thank you for hanging out. And if you don't mind hitting the like, sharing the video out, commenting on the video afterwards. Even if you think me or Dalton or both of us are full of shit, write it in the comments. We need the we need the elevation and such like that.
Yeah. Please, the algorithm gods.
Yes. Help out. And if you don't mind, there's a link to Ko-Fi. Drop $1 in the till. That doesn't hurt either. Thank everybody for joining us. And as always, thank you very, very much for watching. Have a good night.
Cheers, guys.
All right.